Middleton with Cutting Horse Central, and we're here with Ken and Marcia Hanson, longtime competitors in the cutting horse industry. We're going to talk to them a little bit about how they got started and what keeps them going. When was the first time you saw a cutting horse? What made you want to do this?
No question. When we were at TCU, the futurity would come to town, and having always enjoyed performance horses, I would come over from TCU. Some of my buddies would come, sometimes they wouldn't, and we would sit over there and sit up in a corner up there and watch the futurity. Had no idea what we were doing and no idea what was a good run or a bad run, but we had a good time doing it there, and that was the first time I ever saw a cutting horse there. So I guess I was probably 20 at that stage of the game. Never thought I'd ever do it.
Oh yeah. Well, so what made you decide, I guess, later on to do it? When did you start showing?
Well, we had a weekend horse when I first met you and your mom and dad many years ago. We only did that for like a couple of years down in South Texas, and that was Hubert Gentry kind of got me started with that deal, and business kind of went bad, so we decided that was the last thing we needed. You know, we had wife and family and things to do and a career to take care of, so we sold everything, and we were out for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And then decided that, well, I told Marcia, I said, I think I want to go back in and do it. It was in 2000, and she, so we bought a horse from Dean Sanders that Mark Lavender was training, and Mark recommended the horse, and we went down to pick it up, and Marcia said, I really hope you know what you're doing. So that was kind of the beginning of the aged event there. The other horse was just a weekend horse.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Well, it's addictive. I feel like when you get into the sport, you kind of always end up back in it because it's just you can't get enough of it.
Yeah, it's very addictive, and it's just highly enjoyable. It's very difficult, extremely difficult. That's what makes people keep coming back to it. There, I mean, you never ever truly master it, truly. So.
No. Yeah, and I mean, you can be on top for a while and everything going great. You can't do anything wrong, and then you have this stretch where, golly, I can't do anything right. Yeah, but that's what keeps you, like you said, that's what keeps you coming back, I think.
And sometimes that can all happen in one day.
I know, all in one day. I know, so frustrating. You're like, man, this day started off good.
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
We prefer the aged events, but we go to weekend shows. We kind of use the weekend shows to work if we got a little something we need to work on that you cannot get in the practice pen. You use that to maybe it's your horse or maybe it's the rider or whatever there to kind of get yourself tuned up, if you will, to when you go to the aged event. And but clearly the younger horses thoroughly enjoy those, and so we kind of cycle them out before they get too old and into the weekend stuff.
Yeah. Well, so how many horses do you guys have going right now?
We currently have 4 in training with Chris Johnsrud, 2 4-year-olds, 2 5-year-olds. I've got a practice horse here that is now 11 that we raised that Winston Hansma trained, and he's not one of the horses that he wasn't a terrific competitor, but he's also one of my favorite horses there.
Oh yeah.
So I use him for a practice horse now.
Yeah, sometimes they just kind of hold a little special place.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So we sold one a couple of years ago that Bruce Marine trained, and sold him as a 5-year-old. And I noticed, I don't know the lady that bought him, but she is somewhere out in the West Coast, and I see her name, but she shows in like what was the Denver National. The Denver Championship, right?
This year,
she was showing there, and I believe it's Scottsdale, and I believe that's right. But anyway, I noticed, and she was doing quite well. I mean,
that's cool.
I'm glad. Yeah.
So do you guys have some exciting 3-year-olds coming up? Or?
No, we haven't bought a 3-year-old yet this year. You know what? This time last year, I didn't have any either.
Yeah. Well,
and we still wound up with 2.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Plenty of time to find
there's
them.
plenty of time to find them.
Yeah.
Plenty of time to find them. It's just sifting through them there, and I got to give Chris Johnsford credit for that. I mean, the last horse we bought was that Metallic Cat. We bought him in September, and Chris tried 25 horses for me.
Oh wow.
Before we bought that
I mean,
one.
that's a true testament to him too, for
It
sure.
is.
You know,
Very
that
much so.
He was
Yeah.
very dedicated. to
Very, yes.
Yeah,
He knew
that's
what we
good.
were looking for, and anyway, that's impressed me there that he did that.
Well, so you know, talking about, I guess, the owner-trainer relationship, how important do you think that is, that you guys are, you know, on the same page and have the same goals, and he kind of knows what you need / want, you know?
It's extremely important.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're whether you're running a business or coaching a football team or whatever, I mean, everybody needs to know what the goal is, what the plan is there, and it gets tough with a trainer unless you have an in-house trainer. It gets a little bit tough because the trainer, he has other customers that he has to take care of. They may not have the same goals as what you have, and that's okay. That's just life.
So Marcia, you competed at one point in time, and how long has it been since you have shown a cutting horse?
Well, it's been over 10 years. I can't remember exactly like when I got out, but I never showed in the aged events. So I bought my first weekend horse, again, found for me by Mark Lavender. That was during the time we were at his barn. And it was a weekend war horse that you just better hang on.
Yeah.
And even then,
That's
he would
fun,
just
though.
go out from under you.
Yeah.
I came off a few times off of that guy. But he taught me so much as the first cutting horse because he was a cow horse. And I didn't have to really do anything but try to sit in the middle. And then Ken had a dual pep gelding that he rode through the aged events, trained by Tim McLeod. His name was Just Duel It. And a lot of people remember him. We called him Nike, and he was so much easier to ride. So I began to show him as a 7-year-old and into his 8-year-old year until he was injured. And then that was the point where, you know, surgery, time off, and then it was kind of hard for me to get back into it. So that was when I quit at that point.
Do you enjoy that role now, being the cheerleader and supporter and
Absolutely. I'm still involved. We do a lot of things together. We don't do everything together, but we enjoy each other's company. And so that's kind of why I started cutting. Sitting in the stands got boring. And so I just looked at him and said, I need to get my own horse. And it was a long process to learn. But then when I finally quit, there was still plenty for me to do. Yeah. And there were times when the two of us went alone to a weekend show, and I was the loper. And I rode a whole lot then. We've had our last couple of trainers, they have so much help. I'm not getting to ride very much anymore, and I kind of miss it.
Yeah.
But, we enjoy doing it together, and I get to critique every run. It's so much easier from the stands.
Yes, and I know it is. You know, you're sitting there coaching and whatnot, and then
absolutely,
yeah.
If he wants to know what he did wrong, he just has to ask.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Well, like I said, it takes a team, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But what would you guys give, or a piece of advice you would give to someone looking to get into the sport?
Well, someone looking to get into the sport, you know what I would do? I would go talk to. The first thing I would do would go to a few cuttings and I'd find out, and I would probably talk to a few non-pros that you'd seen around that had that were successful and looked like they all did the right thing, and find out from them who they would recommend as a trainer.
Yeah.
Because that's what you've got to have. You've got to have a trainer that is interested in your success and well-being and and can help you find the horse. What I would not recommend is you go out and buy your own horse. so
yeah, it's okay to have some help.
You've got to have the trainer help to get started and get involved in this.
Yeah. What are some goals that you guys have, I guess, in the sport over the next few years?
Just trying to be better. And I'm going to tell off of myself just a little bit here now. When I started in 2000, I only had 2 goals. Number one, I wanted to get out of the 50,000. I thought, if I can ever win 50,000 to get out of the 50 amateur, that would be an accomplishment. And the other goal was to win in Fort Worth a non-pro finalist buckle. And we blew through the 50 pretty quick, but that non-pro finalist buckle was pretty elusive. And a lot of people got a bunch of them, but we finally did get that accomplished just this last year for the first time ever. So those were my real goals there. But I mean, the goal at this stage of the game, in my opinion, is just to try to have good horses and be competitive and just do the best you can. I mean, be the best that you can be with what you've got to work with. I think that's really my goal.
Yeah.
I was excited. Speaking of that, we showed 3 times last week, and we won a little bit over at Fort Worth Stock Show. And I wasn't really all that thrilled with my run, how I rode and everything. We went to that weekend show Friday, showed my 2 4-year-olds, and didn't win a dime. And was extremely pleased with how they performed and how I rode them. And so, it's not always about winning something.
Yeah.
It's about the satisfaction of falling into place and working, so.
Yeah. How long do you guys think that you will continue in the sport?
Well.
Or at least, or competing versus owning, I guess, too.
Yeah, that's a toughie. Reality is time is going to catch up with us here, and but the answer to that is as long as we feel good and are healthy and are competitive, that's the answer to that. How much longer is that? Is it 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? I don't know the answer to that, but as long as we can go and feel like we're accomplishing something. Then yeah, we'll probably continue. And you know what? And I think I'll always own a horse, always. And I mean, I may not ride them, but I think I will always own a horse to do something with.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's fun to watch them do well too. So it makes it, it's another aspect of the sport that's pretty great. So.
Very, yes, yes.
Yep. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time to talk to me, and good luck throughout the rest of the year.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck to you too.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.